The world has always whispered of monsters, serpents that could strangle the earth, skinless demons dripping with rot, and winged gods of death stalking the night. Were they just myths? Or echoes of something real? Stay with us, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we reveal 8 of the most terrifying mythical beasts ever imagined. In Norse mythology, Jormungandr was no ordinary serpent. It was so vast, so impossibly large, that it wrapped its body around the entire earth, clutching its own tail in its monstrous jaws. The Vikings called it the Midgard serpent, a beast destined to rise during Ragnarok, the end of days. Legends say that when Jormungandr stirs beneath the ocean, tidal waves crash against the shores, storms rage endlessly, and earthquakes split the land. The creature was the sworn enemy of Thor himself, and their final battle would shake the world apart. But was Jormungandr more than myth? Some historians believe the serpent may have been inspired by sightings of colossal sea snakes, giant oarfish, or even massive prehistoric marine reptiles whose fossilized remains terrified ancient people. Even today, oarfish up to 56 feet long rise from the deep, reminding us that sea serpents are not pure fantasy. Imagine standing on the deck of a Viking ship, the sea suddenly swelling, a monstrous coil breaking the surface, glowing eyes staring from the abyss. Jormungandr is the very definition of apocalyptic terror, a reminder that the ocean is vast enough to hide a beast that could strangle the world itself. From the cold, wind-swept Orkney Islands of Scotland comes a creature so vile, even demons were said to fear it. The Naclavi was a skinless hybrid, part horse, part man, with raw, red muscles writhing in the open air, dripping foul fluids into the earth wherever it walked. Its exposed sinews glistened like wet rope, its single giant eye burning with hatred, and its toxic breath could wither crops, spread disease, and kill livestock overnight. Unlike many mythical beasts, the Naclavi wasn't locked away in some far-off mountain or bottomless ocean. It roamed freely, striking terror into coastal villages, believed to bring famine and plague. What could inspire such a horrifying legend? Some say it was born from the nightmares of islanders watching strangers, diseased animals, deformed whales, or even drowned sailors, wash up on their shores. Others believe it symbolized the destructive power of harsh winters, when famine stalked entire villages. But eyewitness accounts from as late as the 18th century claim people actually saw this demon galloping across the mist, its rider fused grotesquely to its horse body, its stench poisoning the air. The only escape, legend says, was to cross running freshwater. For the Naclavi, a beast of salt and rot, could not stand pure streams. A fragile barrier between our world and its. When the gods themselves tremble, you know the monster before them is no ordinary beast. Typhon, the father of all monsters in Greek mythology, was the most terrifying creature ever to walk the earth. Towering higher than mountains, his body stretched into the clouds, his arms spanning the horizon, and his lower half coiled in massive, writhing serpents. His head did not wear one face, but 100 dragon heads, each spewing fire, venom, or smoke. His voice was said to echo like thunder and hurricanes, a sound that could shatter stone and terrify armies. Even Zeus, king of the gods, once fled before Typhon's rage. In myth, Typhon challenged the Olympians for control of the cosmos. Their battle shook the heavens, lightning clashing against flame, storms against poison winds. Only after an earth-shattering war was Typhon finally imprisoned beneath Mount Etna in Sicily, where his writhing body is said to cause volcanic eruptions. But could Typhon's legend have roots in reality? Some scholars believe ancient Greeks may have unearthed enormous fossilized remains, mastodons, mammoths, or giant prehistoric reptiles, and imagined them as evidence of a titanic monster. The constant volcanic eruptions in Sicily added fuel to the tale. Picture a creature so large that its footsteps cause quakes, its breath spews storms, its eyes burn like suns. Typhon wasn't just a monster, he was the embodiment of chaos itself, a nightmare made flesh. Deep within the waters of Okanagan Lake in British Columbia lurks a legend Canadians know well, the Agapogo. Described as a monstrous serpent stretching between 40 and 50 feet, with a horse-like head and humps rising like waves, the Agapogo is feared as the North American cousin of the Loch Ness Monster, but far more sinister. For centuries, the indigenous Syilx people told stories of a lake demon named Narwick, demanding human sacrifices to allow safe passage across the waters. Settlers who heard these tales twisted them into the modern myth of Agapogo, but the terrifying core remains the same, a beast dwelling in the deep. Sightings of Agapogo have persisted well into the 20th and 21st centuries. Entire groups of witnesses claim to have seen a dark, writhing shape break the surface, sometimes with horns, sometimes with a head like a reptile. Photographs and videos exist, though blurry, keeping the debate alive. Is it merely waves, logs, or sturgeon? or something far older, far hungrier? Some cryptozoologists speculate Ogopogo could be a surviving prehistoric reptile, like a plesiosaur, while skeptics argue it's misidentified wildlife. Yet the lake is enormous and deep, large enough to hide something unimaginable. Standing by Okanagan's waters, you can't help but feel watched. Every ripple might be a shadow of something ancient, waiting just below. In the jungles of ancient Mesoamerica, the Maya feared the Kamisats, the bat god of death. This monstrous being was no harmless fruit eater. It was described as a humanoid bat with razor talons, a wolf-like face, and wings so vast they could blot out the moon. Kamisats ruled the underworld caves, where it demanded blood sacrifices. In Mayan mythology, it appeared in the Popol Vuh, where heroes ventured into the House of Bats. One was decapitated instantly by Kamisats' strike, leaving the survivors terrified. The horror lies not only in myth. Fossils reveal that during the Ice Age, giant bats existed in Central and South America, some with wingspans nearing 6 feet. To the Maya, who often encountered caves filled with flapping shadows, it's not hard to imagine how such creatures evolved into a god of terror. Even today, bats remain symbols of fear, disease carriers, blood drinkers, harbingers of night. Multiply that terror 100-fold, give it intelligence, claws like daggers, and a taste for human flesh, and you have Kamisats. In Mesoamerican culture, bats bridged life and death, earth and underworld. But in the stories, Kamisats wasn't just a guardian. It was a predator, a reminder that the night sky hides wings that hunger for human blood. In the dense, mist-choked jungles of the Philippines lurks a figure travelers still whisper about. The Tikbalang, a towering humanoid with the head and hooves of a horse, its body stretched unnaturally tall, its limbs too long, its grin too wide. At night, it waits in the shadows of mountain paths, luring the lost deeper into the forest with mocking laughter and glowing eyes. Those who encounter the Tikbalang say it delights in torment, leading wanderers in endless circles, making them vanish into the wilderness, never to return. Some tales describe it crouching in treetops, its horse-skull face peering down, dripping saliva, waiting for its prey to stumble beneath. The legend may be rooted in wild horses introduced centuries ago, their spectral cries echoing through valleys. Others say it's inspired by shadows cast in moonlit jungles, or by sightings of skeletal figures through the mist. But to those who fear the Tikbalang, it is no symbol, it is a predator. It is said the only way to tame this monster is to braid its tangled mane, a nearly impossible task, since it vanishes at dawn. Until then, it is a nightmare made flesh, half man, half beast, and all cruelty. Kamisats ruled the underworld caves, where it demanded blood sacrifices. In Mayan mythology, it appeared in the Popol Vuh, where heroes ventured into the House of Bats. One was decapitated instantly by Kamisats' strike, leaving the survivors terrified. The horror lies not only in myth. Fossils reveal that during the Ice Age, giant bats existed in Central and South America, some with wingspans nearing 6 feet. To the Maya, who often encountered caves filled with flapping shadows, it's not hard to imagine how such creatures evolved into a god of terror. She waits by the roadside, pale and beautiful, her long black hair hiding her face. To the unwary traveler, she looks like a woman in distress. But when she raises her head, the horror is revealed, the Pontianak. Her eyes glow white, her mouth splits into a monstrous smile, and her clawed hands rip through flesh like paper. Pontianaks are said to be the vengeful spirits of women who died during childbirth. Doomed to wander the earth, they hunger endlessly for blood, especially the blood of men. Their screams are chilling, soft and distant when they are close, loud and piercing when they are right behind you. Legends say that a Pontianak can disembowel her victims with her nails, or sink her fangs deep into their necks. If you smell frangipani flowers suddenly at night, beware, for it is said she is near. Dogs howl and babies cry when she passes, sensing what humans cannot. The myth may have grown from real dangers, disease, maternal deaths, predatory animals, twisted into a supernatural terror. But to those who swear they've seen her, standing under streetlights, hair blowing in a windless night, she is no story. The Pontianak is terror embodied, a woman betrayed by life, transformed into death itself. In the valleys of ancient Japan, there was said to be a dragon so vast, so grotesque, that it dwarfed mountains. The Yamata no Orochi, the 8-forked serpent. With 8 enormous heads and 8 writhing tails, its eyes glowed blood red, its breath steaming with venom, its body stretching across 8 hills and valleys. Every year, This monstrosity demanded sacrifices. Maidens offered to appease its hunger. Its scales were jagged like shattered stone, its roar shook the heavens, and wherever it slithered, rivers boiled and forests died. But in the myth, the storm god Susanu confronted it, tricking the beast into drinking vast amounts of sake until it collapsed, sluggish and drunk. Then, with a blade forged by the gods, he severed its monstrous heads one by one. Inside the serpent's belly, he discovered a divine sword, the Kusanagi, a relic that became one of Japan's imperial treasures. Was Orochi only a story? Some suggest it symbolized flooding rivers, which devoured villages like a serpent. Others believe volcanic eruptions inspired the legend, mountains spewing smoke, red rivers of lava resembling writhing tails. Still, the image remains burned into myth, a nightmare hydra so large it could strangle landscapes, a horror that only a god could kill. Across the world, every culture has birthed monsters, not tiny fairies or playful spirits, but colossal terrors that could shatter mountains, poison the air, or drag you screaming into the dark. From the endless coils of Jormungandr to the shrieking vengeance of the Pontianak, these creatures remind us that mythology is not just imagination, it is fear given form. And if even one of these horrors ever truly walked the earth, what if it still waits, watching, just beyond the edge of the firelight?